button. And this button right here. And then we can do this button. Let's try that button again. Not exactly. So what happens when you put important assets on a mechanical drive? There we go. All right, let's see what's going on with Trump's health.
It's getting worse, folks. Donald Trump's decline is even more apparent. He went on Fox earlier in the morning. He was asked a question in a pre-recorded video question by a kid. Hey, what's your favorite farm animal? And then Donald Trump responds,
is he going to say Kamala Harris?
Vice President Kamala Harris.
No! Did he fucking... Oh my God. Did he seriously do that?
Will prevent cows from existing. Here, play the...
Oh, will prevent...
What's your favorite farm animal?
Favorite farm animal?
What's the animal?
Well, this guy grew up in the city.
I'll tell you what I love. I love cows. But if we go with Kamala, you won't have any cows anymore because you're not.
I like turtles. I like turtles.
This kid's day. But I love cows. I think they're so cute and so beautiful and so protective. But according to Kamala, who's a radical left lunatic, you will not have any cows.
Now, my question about Trump is, does he pronounce Kamala's name incorrectly on purpose, or is he just incapable? Right? Is he just incapable of saying Kamala? Like, is he does he, I just want to see, like, this looks surreal, chat. This doesn't look like real Trump. Like, look at this. Steve Doocy, taller than Trump. Almost everybody on there is taller than Trump. Like, is this a perspective issue? Why does he look so tiny?
Thereafter, Donald Trump says that he is a very stable genius. Play the clip.
Working, I am the most stable human being. Remember they said a stable genius. I am the most stable.
I remember you said stable genius. Do you not remember who said stable genius?
Human being. I've been doing this for a long time.
One of the things that lots of people were pointing out to me about this interview is it appeared that Donald Trump was sitting on an incontinence bed pad on the white couch. I don't think that's actually what it is. I do think that it's his.
So chat, this is going to be a theme with Midas Touch. This is Ben Mycelis from Midas Touch. I think he's like the founder or something, but he's got a little preoccupation, and I don't blame him. He's had to cover Trump like more than me, even more than, like I said, these people have grown a channel to 3.2 million subscribers based on Trump tent and almost like Trump tent alone, right? There's very little else on Midas Touch that's not like touching on Trump, right? And a certain story, a certain narrative has just caught the fancy of Ben Mycelis, and either he's just entertained by it, or, you know, he's starting to see things that...
suit, but he definitely has these bizarre long suits draping, but some people disagree with me. I do think that that's his suit, but some people think it's a washable incontinence bed pad. Anyway, do you remember?
I think Trump, much like a dog, sleeps in a cage at night. That's my thought.
Though, when Donald Trump was in office, I just wanted to give you this quick flashback. And
no, don't give us flashback. We don't need that.
It didn't exist. Just randomly. Here, play this clip.
Well, that's very good. And you just have a good time. Are you still a believer in Santa? Because at 7 it's marginal, right?
What? What?
Are you still a believer in Santa? Because at 7 it's marginal, right?
What did he say? Santa's marginal?
You just enjoy yourself.
Then in the interview on Fox, Donald Trump is given another softball question to try to appeal to Nikki Haley voters. And Donald Trump responds about how badly she lost to him. Play this clip.
There's a segment of the Republican Party that likes Nikki Haley, and they are reluctant to jump into your column. She wants to help. She said, if he calls me, I'm there. You guys used to be tight. In the last 18 days, will you call her and say, come out with me?
Yeah, I'll do what I have to do. But let me just tell you, Nikki Haley and I fought.
Look, I'm getting some discussion of IQ in the chat, and look, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I want you to think about the concept of power levels in Dragon Ball Z. Do you remember that? He's over 9,000. Do you remember that? And look, if Goku's showing up as 9,000 on the Scouter, it probably means something, right? But if you watch enough Dragon Ball, you'll realize the power level isn't actually the end-all be-all. And I'd like you to take that into consideration. I know it's really tempting to think, oh, we have this accurate measurement for like intelligence is like a intelligence separate from subject matter. Think about that. Really think about that and ask yourself if that really exists, or if it really may not be just that like people have different aptitudes for different, you know, subjects and different interests and grasps. And yeah, it's
And I beat her by 50, 60, 90 points. I beat her in her own state by numbers that nobody's ever been beaten by. I beat Nikki badly. I beat everyone else too badly.
Then Donald Trump admits that it was actually writers from Fox who wrote Donald Trump's speech for that Al Smith dinner the night before, where Donald Trump was like...
So the Al Smith speech, I watched a little bit of it, and there was part of it for which Trump was cooking, right? Trump was making jokes that are, you know, funnier than anything he'd ever come up with. So, you know, I mean, I figured somebody had written it for him, but it turns out it was Fox.
Cursing in front of priests. He acknowledges that Fox is actually writing his speeches for him now. Listen to yourself. Listen for yourself. Play it.
You know, we have seen historically a lot of Democrats, they turn to the guys at Saturday Night Live or The Tonight Show. They write all their material.
They turn to Pod Save America, but that, no, I don't even mean that. Pod Save America's like, anyway, chat. Well, I mean, I guess Obama did.
Material was real funny. Who wrote it? Who helped you with it?
Well, I've had a lot of people helping. A couple of people from Fox, actually. I shouldn't say that, but they wrote some jokes. And
I shouldn't say that. I had Benny Johnson helping.
for the most part, I didn't like any of them. But
Should we see some highlights? I think you did great.
Go ahead.
Watch.
And just to remind you of what went down at that Al Smith dinner, here Donald Trump, very low energy, struggled to read. And he tries to make a joke about Kamala Harris that we now know Fox actually wrote for him, but he can't actually read anymore. Just watch for yourself.
Someone in the White House who can barely talk, barely put together two coherent sentences, who seems to have mental faculties of a child, it's said.
Then Donald Trump announces that right after this meeting, this interview that he's doing on Fox this morning, he would go have a meeting with Rupert Murdoch, where he would tell Rupert Murdoch not to allow negative commercials against him for the next several days until the election. Here, play this. He acknowledging the collusion right here. Here, play this clip.
Sometimes.
You know what the event I have now?
No.
A very big event. I'm going to see Rupert Murdoch.
Okay.
That's a big event. I don't know if he's thrilled that I say it.
Please, yeah, please tell
And
him we all said thank you.
I'm going to tell him something very simple.
Why does he look so small? Chat, can somebody explain this to me? Isn't he supposed to be 6'2"? Oh, he's probably lying about that. He looks tiny.
I can't talk to anybody else about it. Don't put on negative commercials for 21 days. Don't put them, and don't put on their horrible people that come and lie.
Is that what he's gonna say to Rupert Murdoch? Don't accept advertising if it's from the other. If it's from.
I'm going to say, Rupert, please.
Would that be legal for a news station, even like Fox News, which obviously is catering to a right-wing audience? Would that be legal for them to put on Trump ads but not anti-Trump ads?
Do it this way,
Right.
and then we're going to have a victory because I
He's just leaning forward.
think everyone wants that.
And you're going to
Outkick
Outkick.
to
It's
talk
it's
to
a
him.
great
He's tiny.
channel that we have.
Steve Ducey's got bigger shoulders than Trump.
Tyrus.
Oh, good. That's
Steve Ducey's not a big guy.
All right, Mr. President,
Thank
thank you
you,
so much.
Mr.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Appreciate you.
What a weird handshake.
All right, we're going to step aside. Ladies and
Great seeing you
gentlemen,
again.
Donald Trump.
Good job.
Then I want to show you this clip as well. The whole thing is insane. A kid asks Donald Trump who his favorite president is when he was little, when Donald Trump was a kid. Then Donald Trump says Ronald Reagan, but Donald Trump was 34 years old when Reagan was.
Back when I was a little kid in 1980, it was Ronald Reagan. I was eating my Fruit Loops while watching Transformers, and I looked up on the television, and there was President Reagan, and I was so happy to see him there.
Elected. Then he does his weave, where he talks about trade deals and how Lincoln should have settled
Trump is Trump is like a Gen Xer now.
the Civil War and Ukraine. As Mike Rothschild,
Gen X with Trump would be hilarious, actually.
he is not okay. Here, play this clip.
And Trump, I'm Daniel, and I'm 10, and I'm from Tennessee. What was your favorite president when you were little?
Who was your
Your
favorite
favorite
president when you were little?
So I liked Ronald Reagan. I thought he was, look, I didn't love his trade policy. I'm a very good trade. I've made some great trade deals.
Donald Trump would have been, what, in his 30s and 40s? In the 1980s?
For us, the USMC, I don't. That wasn't his strength, but he had a great dignity about him. Ronald Reagan. You could say, there's our president, more than any others, really any of the others.
Nobody's going to call him on this?
Great presidents. Well, Lincoln was probably a great president, although I've always said, why wasn't that settled? You know, I'm a guy that it doesn't make sense. We had a civil war.
Well, half the country
What?
left before he got there.
Yeah, but
What? What is he talking about?
like, why wasn't that? As an example, Ukraine would have never happened, and Russia, if I
If Lincoln had been president, what are you talking about?
were president.
Wait, whoa.
Great presidents. Well, Lincoln was probably a great president, although
Probably a great
I
president?
always said, why wasn't that settled? You know, I'm a guy that it doesn't make sense.
Why wasn't that settled? Maybe because half of your party are neo-Confederates. Because half of your party wishes the South would have won. There's even a country song about that.
A civil war.
Well, half the country left before he got there.
Yeah, but
He does seem to have some kind of, yeah. What is he sitting? Nobody else is sitting on a. What is that there for? Is that like it's like a look? It's literally like when a kid that pees their bed stays over at somebody else's house, they have to put like rubber sheets or something. Have they got like a little rubber pad there for?
I would say, like, why wasn't that? As an example, Ukraine would have never happened, and Russia, if I were president. Israel would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. As you know,
Your nighttime bedroom temperature use silk designed to other lug, giving them clean with 40% diesel. And this episode that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged.
I believe that Harvey Weinstein was accused of schlonging other people without their.
Donald Trump says he's surprised Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. Donald Trump uses the word schlong and Harvey Weinstein. Here, play this clip.
but Democrats don't
Oh, it's Dan Bongino.
have to be honest. They really don't have to be honest because they're not going to. They will never be accused of anything. It's interesting. I was so amazed that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged.
Harvey Weinstein used his like power in Hollywood to leverage encounters that people did not want to have with him.
He got hit as hard as you can get hit because he was sort of the king of the woke, right? And yet he.
Oh, you know who is really the king of the world though? Is as far as I know, Jeffrey Epstein.
I figured that
You were so close to being like, it's really a shame what they did to Jeffrey Epstein.
maybe
He was a great guy. He's always had a younger woman at his side.
he wouldn't get hit so hard. But boy, did he get. You don't know him well. I don't know him well. But I watched that, and it was amazing. So when they do get hit, they get hit. But that's the only one I can think of. Normally, they protect everybody. What they did with Adams, I think, is very.
He said Hillary got schlonged too? What does he mean by that?
suspect.
I heard you bring that up last night.
Well, I brought
Donald Trump also getting some other bad news in the morning. Taylor Swift made another post holding a cat, and she writes, "Back in the office, hashtag Miami."
Natalie Marie says it's nothing. I watched him sit down on the couch. It had nothing. So, are we seeing then, Natalie, like is it his coat? Like what? There's clearly something there. He said she got schlonged by the Democrats when they chose Obama. Oh, God.
BTS, the Eras tour. And Taylor Swift is back on tour. And I think she is letting people know that she will be making.
Say, like, why wasn't that?
Okay, look at this. There was nothing there when he sat down. All right. So, theory one, he's got like coattails or something. Like there's the thing that's fucking with me here is that's black. Like what he's sitting on is black. His suit is blue. And it's just, it doesn't seem like the shape of like his clothes? Is that the other alternate theory of what that is?
As an example, Ukraine would have never happened, and Russia, if I were president. Israel would have never.
All right, I don't know, chat. I don't know.
He surprised Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. Donald Trump uses the word schlong and Harvey Weinstein. Here, play this clip.
But Democrats don't have to be honest. They really don't have to be honest because they're not going to, they will never be accused of anything. It's interesting. I was so amazed that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. He got hit as hard as you can get hit because he was sort of the king of the woke, right? Yeah. And yet he got hit. And I figured that maybe he wouldn't get hit so hard. But boy, did he get, you don't know him well. I don't know him well. But I watched that and it was amazing. So when they do get hit, they get hit. But that's the only one I can think of. Normally they protect everybody. What they did with Adams, I think, is very suspect.
I heard you bring that up last.
Oh, crap. Sorry, chat.
Donald Trump also getting some other bad news in the morning. Taylor Swift made another post holding a cat. And she writes, "Back in the office, hashtag Miami TS, the Eras tour." And Taylor Swift is back on tour. And I think she is letting people know that she will be.
Here, let's take a look. Natalie's got another video of maybe Trump sitting down at, is it the 5? Is he on the 5? This isn't the 5, right? This is, oh my God, what is it? Fox and Friends. It's Fox and Friends, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Putting his microphone on.
Sit down. 3, 2, 1. There we go. How are you?
Okay, no. This is too weird. This is too weird, chat. You see that? Oh shit, you don't see that because it's in another. Let's get this. My apologies, chat. I will make this. This is too weird, though. I gotta say, this is too effing weird. All right, let's bring this here. All right, now check this out. Check this out. Natalie's right. When he sits down, there's nothing there.
Okay. Very good.
Right? Watch. He's sitting down. He's got his mic. They put his mic on him.
Sit down. 3, 2, 1.
He sits down. All sit down. That's so weird. They're like 3, 2, 1. Oh my God. What's going on the show? Chat, this is going to turn me into like a Midas touch conspiracy theorist.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. What is he sitting on though?
This is very nice.
Big night last night.
I mean, you do see his coat kind of like his coat hits the, the edge of his sports coat like hits the couch, right? So you do see that. Could it just be his sports coat?
Never sat in the middle.
It's great, right?
I don't think anyone.
It's the fur.
You know who sits in the middle, Donald? There's a name for that. Sitting middle. All right, wait. I'm sorry, chat. I'm going into conspiracy mode. What is going on? Look at that, chat. Something like appeared under the former president's ass.
All right, and we'll all sit down. 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God. We get a little bit more in here. All right, take a look.
There we go. How are you?
There he is. So there's his coat. You do see his coat sort of, hitting the couch. But what is that? What is that? Anyway.
Holding a cat. And she writes, back in the office, hashtag Miami TS, the Eras Tour. And Taylor Swift is back on tour. And I think she is letting people know that she will be making sure people are registered to vote right there. Donald Trump is also upset at our booming economy. When we, the people, do well, that pisses Donald Trump off. Take a look at the front page of The Economist.
Bad Lefty says, I think it's the cut of his blazer, which is clearly too long.
The envy of the world, America's economy, a special report. And it goes into how by every objective metric that we used to use and still supposed to use to determine the condition of economies.
Okay.
America leads the world.
Marcellus, let's switch back here. Okay. Marcellus, I gotta make a point here, all right? Those measurements for economy are tailored to describe how well capitalists are doing. Those metrics were never designed to reflect how the average person is doing in the economy. And this linking up of the economy, as it used to be covered in the legacy media back when there was 3 channels and there was no internet, there was no influence of, there was nothing but mainstream media, right? That was illusory. It's a constant thing. Like, it's a well-known fact that unemployment undermeasures, for instance, people who have left the workforce or are, have not been able to find a job and are no longer looking for a job, right? There's just a lot that's anyway. I don't like the gaslighting that you get from the Trump camp in trying to say that Biden's economy is so much worse than Trump's economy, right? But at the same time, there is a truth to the matter that even with all the economic metrics looking good, people are still struggling. Anyway, this kind of bugs me because, on one hand,
so peaceful up here, but now there are freaking communist invading radicals.
On one hand, we're being gaslit by the Republicans into thinking that the Trump economy was magical and wonderful, and the Biden economy is rotten and it's evil, and that's not true. But the pandemic affected all of us. And the pandemic affected the world. And the lingering effect of the pandemic may very well affect working people more than it affects investors and capitalists. That's all I'm trying to say. It's a weird thing because, there's a version of this that's being sold to people that is absolute bullshit, right? When people say they want the Trump economy, what they're saying is they want to go back in time. They want to erase the effect of the pandemic, and that's just not going to happen. And the idea that you'd blame Biden for something that proceeded and got way worse under Trump is ridiculous. But at the same time, the idea that everything's hunky-dory is bullshit too. In some ways, some of the provisions in terms of the stimulus, in terms of student loans going on pause, some of the stuff that was going on during the pandemic actually made things easier for people. And when that was taken away, along with the I believe some child tax credits, right? When that stuff expired was ended, right? It increased the suffering. Now, I don't blame that on Biden. That is what any an administration would have done. But at the same time, I do think that the government needs to do a lot more for the people, for the working class, right?
We're kicking China's ass. We're kicking Europe's ass. South America. We're the fastest growing economy right now of all G7 nations, based on policies by Biden and Harris. After Donald Trump added $8 trillion in debt, we now have inflation under control. Interest rates are coming down. Unemployment's at all-time low. Manufacturing boom is taking place here. All very good metrics.
All looks really good sitting in your comfortable, expensive seat, Ben Meiselas.
Right now. And that doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean that people aren't struggling. It doesn't mean that people
thank you
feeling a certain way. I get it, but things are going in the right direction, and policies to take us forward and not back are needed. Even Fox had to acknowledge a bull market entering its third year. Dow Jones setting records, S&P setting records. The American stock market is absolutely booming. I do want to show you this as well, because while Donald Trump is doing those bizarre appearances on Fox and panicking, here's what's going on in Western Michigan, for example, where you've got United, Governors Whitmer, Shapiro, Evers, Healy, Hochul, and more stumping for Harris. Watch this.
That are going to play an outsized role in the outcome of this election. It is Michigan, it is Wisconsin, and it is Pennsylvania.
Okay, now this bugs me too, right? Because Hillary Clinton talked about a firewall, right? And it was some of the same states. There were states that Hillary Clinton thought that she had locked up to the point where she did not visit them, she did not campaign in them, and she ended up losing them to Trump in 2016, right? This whole blue wall thing, I wouldn't be characterizing it that way. It's not a wall. Kamala is up most of the time in most of these states by a margin that's within the margin of error. So in other words, these aren't locked up. These aren't a wall. This isn't, you know what I mean? All of the states, all of the 7 swing states, right, are very, very close. But yeah, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania are as well.
Some of my best friends are my fellow Democratic governors. I gotta tell you,
And look, I think that people who you may not think of as
was that Gretchen Whitmer?
Traditional Harris voters, but who are now Harris voters, and people who you may think of would have supported Trump in the past just by the way they look, but looks can be deceiving, are now out there very vocally.
Yeah, Dick Cheney, Lynn Cheney, you should be really fucking happy about the worthless, cloutless, dried up neoconservative shitheads, the architects of the war on terror, are now in favor of Kamala Harris. Now, look, it does speak to the, Trump's incompetence. This does speak to the unprecedented, sort of power grabs that Trump has made. But these aren't good people, and you're not getting any votes from having Dick Cheney on your side, right? You may very well lose votes from having Dick Cheney on your side. Now, you can't help that. You can't tell Dick Cheney to, you can't throw a blanket over him and pretend that he doesn't exist. But at the same time, I would not be flexing this stuff.
Calling out Donald Trump. Here's an individual. This went viral on TikTok. Let me show you. Let's play it.
So, anybody care to take a swing?
Nice beard.
Explaining Dementia Donald pulling a Mitch McConnell and just whiting out on stage while Italian opera and Oliver Anthony's music played for like 45 fucking minutes this weekend?
Good question, sir. Good question.
This man's mental decline must be studied. We are watching the direct effects of Adderall and advanced dementia. This shit feels
It may be Sudafed and advanced dementia, but
like for the last week and a half, everything that falls out of that man's mouth has been one long amphetamine.
well, now we're going to be talking about things that fall out of that man's mouth, but we're also in a second going to be talking about things that may be falling out the other end of that man, the other hole.
Hate-fueled fever dream. Between forgetting where he's at and talking shit about the state he is currently standing in, leaving his supporters stranded in the desert, and now this shit, I don't know how...
Now, I don't know if you can blame the leaving supporters stranded in the desert thing on his dementia. I think that's just Donald Trump being a cheap bastard, right? What he's talking about is Coachella, where 20 buses were brought in to bring people from the parking lots, which were quite far away, to the stage, to the area where Donald Trump would speak, right? They got 20 buses, right? But when it came to the return trip, only like 1 to 3 buses were booked, right? So in other words, Donald Trump cared about getting his fans and supporters out to the stage to show, I've got a big audience, I've got a big crowd. But once they're there, he doesn't care about getting them back. Yeah, that's not his dementia. That's him being a cheap bastard. And he's always been a cheap bastard.
Any of y'all still think this motherfucker is competent? Y'all were so quick to call Biden motherfucking brain dead, yet not one of y'all will admit that this motherfucker...
Okay, he's on to some real hypocrisy, though. He's right about that.
His goddamn head. I don't know. Y'all know how this goes. Keep them motherfucking boots out your motherfucking mouth and remember that the golden rule will always remain. Yeehaw, fuck the law, and I will see y'all down the line.
You know why?
All right, then.
People are sick and tired of just Trump whining, and it's obvious that he's in serious cognitive decline. It's apparent to us all. Here, Donald Trump says this morning, also on that podcast, that he's going to sue 60 Minutes. He's upset about them. Interviewing Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump was too scared to go on 60 Minutes. Play this.
Yeah, he's made several. So this is another part of the story of his declining health, right? He has canceled appearances on various programs, on various podcasts, and
Clip.
So I think I'm going to sue them, actually.
Good. Go for it.
I think so. No, you know what? They can't defend it. And if they do, and even if they win, it's going to be very embarrassing. 60 Minutes, so I've done it many times. I did it with Mike Wallace. The best one I ever had was Mike Wallace, and he was the biggest killer. And, you know, Chris tries to be Mike, but you still have to have it.
Yeah, he's not cutting it.
He doesn't.
He's not cutting it.
But it's a very embarrassing moment for them, but the media is not pressing it.
I also like that this clip has surfaced. Here is J.D. Vance from 2016, what he had to say about Donald Trump. Let's play it.
And so one of the takeaways is not just that the Republican Party base is somehow fundamentally flawed in a way that's unique in American political history. It's that Trump is a really bad candidate and, frankly, I think a really bad person.
Finally, this is Vice President Kamala Harris from earlier in the day at her speech. Let's play it.
And make no mistake, Donald Trump is no friend of labor. Let's be really clear about that, no matter what the noise is out there. He is no friend of labor. Just look at the record. Instead of his rhetoric, look at the record. And let's not fall for the okey doke. Seriously, he encouraged automakers to move their plants out of Michigan so they could pay their workers less. Understand what that was about. So they could pay their workers less. And when the UAW went on strike to demand the higher wages they deserved, Donald Trump went to a non-union shop and attacked the UAW. And he said, striking and collective bargaining don't make, quote, a damn bit of sense. A damn bit of difference is what he said exactly. That it doesn't make a, quote, pardon my language, a damn bit of difference is what he said. All right, brother. So Michigan, you know better. Strong unions mean higher wages, better health care, and greater dignity for union members and for everyone, whether or not you are part of a union. Get that straight. Get that straight. which is why when I am president, I will sign the PRO Act into law and make it easier for workers to join a union and negotiate.
So now this is one thing that we've really got to watch about the Harris campaign and the Harris administration if she wins. Joe Biden, despite his horrible, monstrous foreign policy, despite the fact that he has co-signed ethnic cleansing in Gaza, right? And there's a lot there's plenty that you can complain about Biden, right? But he has been a step forward in terms of labor. In, you know, there's moments where that weren't great. The rail strike comes to mind, right? But overall, in terms of the NLRB and in terms of supporting the longshoremen, Biden is a step forward from Obama. Biden is a step forward from Hillary, right? For a long time, the Democrats have just basically stabbed unions in the back, right? And there's a real question about which way Kamala is going to go in terms of that. There's real questions about, things like the FTC. Will Kamala Harris retain Lena Khan, or will she appease pieces of shit like Mark Cuban, who she's now got campaigning for her, and eliminate Lena Khan from the FTC, right? Your job isn't done when the election is won. Remember that, okay?
For better pay and working conditions.
All right, so yeah, let's so I want to show you something that Midas Touch has been, again, I have mixed feelings about this channel. We watch a lot of them because they have they really do have their receipts in order. But at the same time, I don't know, there's some funny stuff, there's some funny things about them. And one of these things is this like this obsession with Donald Trump's bowel habits.
As I've reported on this before, I want to handle this subject with care and with tact, and I want to take it very seriously. It seems that when Donald Trump was giving a speech at the Detroit Economic Club, among other things that occurred when he wasn't attacking Detroit or consistently lying, he seems to have soiled himself during this speech. You can hear it multiple times. It seems that he is letting out gas and potentially fecal matter as well during the speech, and then he tries to kind of cover it up by making a noise. He goes, ugh, as he appears to be relieving himself.
Okay, no, I just want to watch this again, all right?
Wasn't sleep. As I've reported on this before, I want to handle this subject with care
and maturity
and with tact, and I want to take it very seriously. It seems that when Donald Trump was giving a speech at the Detroit Economic Club, among other things that occurred when he wasn't attacking Detroit or consistently lying, he seems to have soiled himself during this.
Okay, so that's a pretty big claim, right? That's a pretty big claim. The former president shitting on himself during a speech, right? And again, like, I want to take this with seriousness, and I want to take this and like it's almost like he's realized that it's gonna provoke more laughter. It's gonna be funnier if he does this deadpan and he's like, no, I'm really serious about this. This is a real serious concern about the former president's health. Like, can you imagine if he's in a diplomatic meeting and he shits himself? We might lose NATO right there. They might cancel NATO. They'd just be so offended. You know, he's in a meeting with NATO heads of state, and he like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, Ben Meiselas.
Speech. You can hear it multiple times. It seems that he is letting out gas and potentially fecal matter as well during the speech, and then he tried.
I don't know what to think. I'm a Trump like, look, did Trump fart in a courtroom? It seems like maybe, you know, there's some evidence to point to that, right? But this idea that he's just constantly shitting himself,
Tries to kind of cover it up by making a
I don't know.
noise. He goes, as he appears to be relieving himself. So
This is a saga.
clip for you, but I want to show you this is not just the first time this has occurred. But let me show you what went down yesterday when Donald Trump spoke at the Detroit Economic Club. Listen carefully. Let's play it.
All right, listen carefully.
Catastrophe for the American dream.
Well-timed super chat, Davi. Very well-timed super chat. Trump farts, and then the super chat comes in. Oh my god! Oh my god! What do you think, chat? Is this real? Are we being gaslit by the Midas touch? That would be an awesome way to disband NATO, says Davi.
And a dire crisis.
Damn. All right, let's hear this again.
Spoke at the Detroit Economic Club. Listen carefully. Let's play it.
This is a catastrophe for the American dream and a dire crisis.
Okay. Something's bothering me here, and that's that that sound is too loud to be an actual fart from Donald Trump, right? And I don't think that as much as I like kind of laugh at Midas touch and I make fun of them for like kind of a-logging Trump a little bit, and you know, from being like, you know, sort of stereotypes of shitlibs. Like, God, that whole phrase shitlib, it's taking on a new term, a new meaning now. But I don't think that they would edit the audio or put in a sound that wasn't actually there. Like, I mean, that'd be pretty, especially given that they're not giving any sense of, like, you know, that this is tongue-in-cheek, pun intended.
Down yesterday when Donald Trump spoke at the Detroit Economic Club. Listen carefully. Let's play it.
This is a catastrophe for the American dream and a dire crisis from commerce to labor
So,
to FEMA.
Now,
as opposed to being, you know, something where you're questioning, like, was that a fart or not? That was clearly a fart. But it's like, how is his ass picking up on the mic more than he is? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not just a fart, it's like a wet diarrhea sound. One more time.
I want to show you this is not just the first time this has occurred.
You can judge for yourself. What do you think, chat? Have they edited the audio? Maybe they turned up the audio, right? Maybe they edited the audio to turn it way up, right? That would make sense. That would explain.
I'll show you what went down yesterday when Donald.
But then they should say, we've turned up the audio right here in order to.
But now there are freaking communists.
In order to make sure that you can hear this, right? It's a slight sound, and we want to turn it up and let you judge for yourself. Do you think that's a fart sound, or do you think it's not a fart sound? And yeah, it very much does sound like a very wet fart.
Trump spoke at the Detroit Economic Club. Listen carefully. Let's play it.
This is a catastrophe for the American dream and a dire crisis.
It sounds like what a radio DJ would have on their soundboard, like to make fun of somebody, right?
From commerce to labor.
Okay, now that one was more slight.
FEMA.
Now, as I mentioned, this has happened frequently with Donald Trump, and we've been covering it here at the Midas Touch Network, and I think...
Caramella 8 says, there's a guy who worked in The Apprentice who claimed DT is incontinent from upper abuse. Is that a thing? Can upper abuse cause that? Wore diapers on the set of The Apprentice and soiled himself regularly, particularly when he's getting angry. Oh my God, is that a thing?
It is an important subject to cover. I know
it's like a bass drum mic, but for his cheeks. Yeah, that's why I'm like questioning this. I'm like, is that real?
that corporate media is going to avoid it. And there are some people who kind of cover it, but like mock it and make fun of it. I want to just report on it and give you the data points right here, because I think the health of candidates is significant.
Yeah, sure. Sure. That's it. That's exactly it.
Themselves is
I think the health of candidates is very important.
And senators, is he relieving himself in front of them? Is he defecating on?
We can't have a president shitting himself in front of world leaders. That's true, Ben Mycelis. Good point.
In front of them, what is taking place here?
I'm just like, am I supposed to take this shit seriously?
I'll just show you, for example, when he was holding.
Like you are lolcowing the former president of the United States, and while I will say yes, he does have that lolcow, genetics. The person that lolcows too hard becomes an A-log and becomes a lolcow themselves, becomes a little silly. And I'm just wondering if that's the route that Ben Mycelis and the Midas Touch are going down at this point.
When he was disgracing the.
Because this isn't just one video, chat. I have found an entire series of reports by Midas Touch about the Donald Trump gastrointestinal saga.
And also apparently defecating on himself, it appears, at least, let me be clear, this appears to be what's taking.
And I don't know whether to, I almost feel like Ben Mycelis' obsession with Donald Trump's bowels is a little bit more funny than Donald Trump's, loose bowels. I don't know. You tell me, chat, which is funnier?
Corroborating sources. Well, the late Dianne Feinstein was sitting next to him once, and he appears to not only let out gas, but he also seems to have also relieved himself as well.
Has anyone examined his undergarments, says Soyprim?
And you can see it in her face, how disgusted and kind of grossed out she is about what took place. Let's play it here.
So today we're here in a bipartisan fashion to show leadership.
Double Dostoevsky says, when they go low, we go high because of the smell. Yeah, there we go.
In an effort to end the senseless.
Okay, so now that could have easily been, I remember this one. That actually sounds like the leather of his seat. And also, don't zoom in on this, right? We want to see, if you want to show me that this isn't just the leather squeaking, that Donald Trump actually ripped one here, show me Feinstein's face.
Violence, it can be ended.
Donald Trump.
God damn it, we gotta go searching for this. Fuck me. All right, chat, just a minute, just a second here. Just a second. Let's find this Dianne Feinstein Trump farts. Because I've seen a better version of this, I think. The farting president. God damn. 4 years ago, Donald Trump farts on TV during bipartisan gun control meeting. Oh, there it is. We got it. Gatsby Cat, thank you.
So today,
thank you for resubbing. Here, let me show you a better version of this. See what we think.
We're here in a bipartisan fashion to show leadership in an effort to end the senseless.
Okay, so we definitely heard something, but it sounds like leather.
Violence, it can be.
I mean,
ended. So today,
that didn't sound like leather. That sounded like gas against leather. That.
We're here in a bipartisan fashion.
Okay, so wait a minute. Maybe.
To show leadership in an effort to end the senseless.
There it is again.
Violence.
I think the first one was a fart. I think the second one was not a fart.
Violence. It can be.
And she did. I don't know, chat. Do you look? What if? Here's a theory. All right. Maybe Dianne Feinstein was not meant to die so early. Maybe she could have held on to power for another Senate term, for another 6 years, right? Is it possible that Trump's gas contributed to the passing of the late senator?
So today we're here in a bipartisan.
Okay, it does seem like she's reacting. It seems like she maybe didn't notice the sound, but then the smell hit her.
Fashion to show leadership.
She's trying to keep it together.
In an effort to end the senseless violence.
Yeah, the second one was not a fart. I think the first one was. All right, so you got him. You got him, Marcellus. There was at least one fart there. Trump did her in. I think so too. Yeah.
Been doing this as well in front of world leaders. When the president of Turkey, Erdogan, visited the White House, it also appears that Donald Trump relieved himself, let out fecal matter as well, let out gas too, in front of Erdogan. You can see
Erdogan. Like we don't need. Look, Ben Marcellus, you're going to start a major diplomatic incident here with it's Erdogan.
Same kind of movement that you saw with the late Senator Feinstein.
You don't want to mess with Turkey. Look, they own the former mayor of New York.
Response, just like grossed out, repulsed, and then they have to stand there in that just it's described as the filthiest, most disgusting stench you'll ever be around, is how many people describe it. But watch this interaction here. Let's play the clip.
This is like Alex Jones talking about Hillary Clinton. Okay, so there's Erdogan. Am I right, Chad? It's not Erdogan. Right, it's Erdogan. Okay, now his face looks very guilty. His face looks very guilty.
Let's play the clip.
Sounds like...
And then
I guess it could be?
Is how many people describe it.
It could be?
Interaction here. Let's play the clip.
What do you think, Chad? Is this real? I mean, look, the only thing that's making me think that he's farting here, like, because the sound could easily be the chair. The sound could easily be the chair, right? But the look on his face, that's a guilty, flatulent look on his face.
How many people describe it. But watch this interaction here. Let's play the clip.
Yeah, that's a guilty look. I don't know.
We were the ones who broke here at the Midas Touch Network the story that Trump was doing this during the criminal trial. All
right, it's Erdogan. I'm pronouncing it correct. Okay, so Marcellus, you need to take some notes, all right? We don't want to antagonize the new Ottoman Empire.
He was found guilty on 34 separate felony counts. He would fall asleep, and then he would fart, he'd pass gas, and also potentially relieve himself, let out fecal matter.
He must have practiced delivering this without a smile, without a laugh, because he knew that the dry delivery of this very wet theory would be more entertaining, would be more hilarious.
In front of the people sitting next to him. And we had lots of great sourcing in that courtroom and lots of people who were sitting next to him who saw it happen. And we also had some insight into that inner circle as well. Same thing, we are just repulsive. And here was our reporting at that time. I'm sure you know it went mega viral, but you know, I think it was important that we handled that reporting delicately and seriously as we're doing the most recent incident that took place at the Detroit Economic Club, where he appears to have soiled himself again in public. Here, play this clip. Returning.
Wait, a bold dog look or like a bad dog look?
To the court proceedings as well, Maggie Haberman reports that Donald Trump continued to fall asleep during the proceedings as well. And, you know, what I'm hearing...
Okay, so you remember this? This is the court proceedings of the New York criminal trial?
From my sources as well is that, you know, and I'm hearing from credible sources...
Yeah, we don't...
But now there are freaking communists invading.
Now, I will say that I don't think we have audio of this one. I don't think we have video of this one. Remember, it was a court proceeding. There was not... There was a court artist, right, that did drawings, but we don't have... We can't really confirm this. This is just anecdotal. This is hearsay. Or hear smell, as it were.
What's going on in the courtroom. And what I'm
We need to see a spectrogram of the audio recording. I feel like, yeah, audio experts might be able to help us out here.
Is that take it for what it's worth, but that Donald Trump is
Toggle cat ears.
Courtroom, and that it's very stinky around him. It's a putrid odor in the courtroom, and that Trump's lawyers are like repulsed by the scent and the smell. And I'm not just saying that to be like, oh, funny. I'm actually, we have good sources.
I'm sorry. You are saying this to be haha funny, and you've been on this.
And I'm hearing it from actual credible people that as he's kind of falling asleep, he is actually passing gas, and that his lawyers are really struggling with the smell. I think you'll actually start to hear more of that, but again, from real credible sources. Now, take it for what it's worth. They may be going off the record. I mean,
we do have multiple sources for this.
And telling me that because
deep background
of it's the Midas touch, and they think that we want to hear that. So you could
they know that you're really entertained by Trump's bowel movements.
But real credible people who are there saying that it's putrid around him. Now, you may know that I host a show with Michael Cohen. It's called Political Beatdown. And Michael Cohen suggested that during Donald Trump's speeches, he does this routine where he goes like, and what Michael Cohen suggested was Trump's telling that story and going, so that he can soil himself or let out farts or what have you, and kind of mask it with the noise.
Excuse me?
That's why he's telling this story.
Excuse me?
And in front of all of his people, he's going, here, just you can watch what Michael Cohen had to say. And that's where Michael Cohen came up with the name to refer to Donald Trump as Von Schitzenpants. Here, let's play.
Oh, yeah, Donnie Von Schitzenpants. I remember this.
Magic. And it's bad news. Bad things are happening. I'm sorry.
What's he even doing there? Is that him talking about the Olympics? Like when he's talking about the weightlifter?
He was staring us in the face the whole time, Michael Cohen.
Dude, you understand when he's going like, Donald Von Schitzenpants. That's what he was doing. He was trying to figure out a way how he can sort of squeeze that sucker out, right? And he's going, it's like,
the serious with which he's broaching this subject.
You see like your baby when they're constipated. That's what Donald's doing. Can we play that again, and I'll show you the exact moment he lets it go.
Magic. And it's bad news. Bad things are happening. I'm sorry.
Right there.
I also spoke with former Republican Congress member Adam Kinzinger, who described Donald Trump's stench as being a combination of ketchup and armpits, and described it as one of the most putrid odors he's ever been around in general. And this is someone, who's been in the military, and he's
Double Dostoevsky says, we have our deep throats out there giving us credible info on Trump's farts. Like, what are we talking? We're talking about a conspiracy theory, kind of. A little bit of a conspiracy theory. Davy Cliff said, I don't know why you didn't get TTS for that, Davy. Here, let me... What are these YouTube political analysts going to do when there's no Trump to kick around? Yeah, it's just a regular Republican. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what Republicans they go to, right? Because there's some weird Republicans. Have you seen Vivek Ramaswamy? Have you seen J.D. Vance, right? It just depends. I don't think that the Republican Party is going to go back to Jeb Bush. I don't really want to hear him say fecal matter over and over again. This guy is obsessed, Natalie. This guy is obsessed with Donald Trump's fucking bowels. I almost think he's funnier than Trump. Like, I'm not saying there's nothing to this, right? Because it does seem like maybe there is. Does he broadcast from a Motel 6 lobby? What, the chairs? I don't know. I mean, maybe so. I'm pretty sure Midas Touch does quite well for itself, though. I doubt it would be a Motel 6. I wonder if Trump is doing that. What was offensive to Erdogan. Wait, you have seen a courtroom clip? Where were there cameras? Maybe not in the criminal case, but in one of the civil cases. Were there cameras in the Stormy Daniel case? Maybe Mediaception, Midas Touch, reporting on Midas Touch. I know, right? The court sounded like the Law and Order noise. Oh, you mean the during. We got farts. We got the best farts, folks. You're gonna be tired of farts. We're gonna have so many farts. Heard Kyle Kalinske talking about this Trump sharding thing, not just Midas Touch. So there are more people out there documenting this. I kind of hope Trump doesn't see this because, he's going to get on Truth Social and say something. Somebody else was farting. Yeah, probably. Nothing to do with weightlifting. It was something else. Deep throat. We know why your voice is deep. You inhale all of the pestilence?
He's been around potentially worse smells, but no, this is the worst smell Kinzinger's ever smelled. Here, play this clip. I'm genuinely surprised how people close to Trump haven't talked about the odor. It's truly something to behold. Wear a mask if you can. Then Donald Trump responded to that, and he had his team go after you and say, no, Kinzinger's the one who's smelly. And as Hillary Clinton said, if you could be baited by a tweet, how are you supposed to be expected to handle Vladimir Putin and other authoritarians? And Donald Trump clearly got baited by your tweet and your post. But let's just start with your post. The odor, the stench, the stink. How bad is it? What do you know about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not good. I mean, think about the best way to describe it. I've tried to take armpits, ketchup, like a butt, and kind of put it in a blender, and makeup, and put that all in a blender, and and you bottle that as a cologne. That's kind of that. But it's amazing. I've been amazed that, everybody's just kind of learning about this now. But again, I think the bigger point is he's a weak human being. But look at this. He had his people respond to me on this. By the way, they're always unnamed spokesmen because none of them want to put their names, even though I think I know who's doing this.
I'm trying to remember, is Kinzinger was Kinzinger Republican?
They don't want to put their names behind that because they know that their words are going to live forever. And my goodness, I mean, Vladimir Putin, I'm going to tell you, President Xi of China, they're licking their chops at the idea of another Donald Trump term. Because I sat in the Oval Office once when Donald Trump begged a group of us to pull China's ZTE out of the sanctions list from the National Defense Authorization Act because he made a personal promise to President Xi because Xi asked him nicely on the phone. I mean, this is the kind of leader, of the greatest country in the world.
And that might sound really weird until you realize that Donald Trump, if you really understand him, he was like a New York socialite in the 80s, right? He was somebody that was trying to make a name for himself, trying to get attention, trying to use even negative attention to his advantage, trying to be seen as a millionaire playboy. And so for him to make friends with, world leaders, with important people, might actually be worth more to him than to act on in the self-interest of the United States.
That we're looking at reinstating, and the odor's the odor, and I think that needs to.
He is an anti-Trump Republican.
About it because he's the kind of guy that would use something like that all the time against other people. He needs a taste of his own medicine.
And so there's a reason Trump smells trending #1 quite frequently, and because it's rooted in this unfortunate reality. By the way, former President Obama gave a speech over the weekend in Pittsburgh. Or not over the weekend, he gave a speech yesterday. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And in the speech, one of the things that Obama talked about was, do you ever think that Donald Trump knows how to buy diapers? And then you'll hear in the crowd, somebody goes, his own diapers. Here, listen for yourself.
Or a car seat. Or diapers. I remember buying diapers. I remember the first time I went in the store, right after Malia was born. I was like, what? That's how much diapers cost? I remember changing diapers. You think Donald Trump ever changed a diaper?
Yeah, so supposedly somebody behind him says his own.
Yeah. I almost said that, but I decided I shouldn't say it.
There's some other data points I want to introduce as well into this expose. Flies.
It's like a leftist tabloid. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's not leftist, right? This is, you know, Midas Touch, it's for centrist Democrats, right?
That are traditional.
Even like never Trump Republicans.
Attracted to feces. Rotting, decaying meat.
I don't know why we're bringing up rotting, decaying meat, but okay.
Seem to be always attracted to Donald Trump. At all of his...
Yeah, it's liberal agitprop, but very centrist.
Speeches, the flies are attracted, are coming by him. There may be a correlation, but here's a compilation that we created. Play this clip.
And all of New England, actually, he's a disaster. He's radical left. RFK Jr. is radical left. It reminds me of this fly that's driving me crazy up here. This fly is brutal. I don't like flies. Oh, there's a fly. Oh, I wonder what...
This was my favorite. Oh, there's a fly. Oh, I wonder why the fly's up here. Last 2 years ago, we wouldn't have had flies.
See, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have had a fly up here. You're changing rapidly, but we can't take it any longer. We can't take it any longer. A coal plant a week. I don't like flies. Get out of here, fly. Never been a big fan of flies. You don't mind my bringing that up, do you? Anyway, this is a very aggressive sucker, though. This one in particular is very aggressive. Like, I'm going to be aggressive for our country.
But not as aggressive as the top of the hour ad break, which comes at you unrelenting every hour on the hour for 3 minutes at a time. You may have experienced the exquisite displeasure of this ad break already if you're watching me on Twitch. 3 minutes of uninterruptible ads served to you every hour on the hour. Of course, you can get out of it for free if you've got a Prime. You can use your Twitch Prime sub to get out of it. You can get out of it for $6 if you've got $6. You can get yourself a sub, or you could possibly be gifted a sub. That can happen. That does happen if you're lucky, but it's more likely to happen to you if you're actually active in the chat. So be active in the chat.
Giving you more data points here, Kathy Griffin, as well as...
Wait, Kathy Griffin?
Mary Trump here discussed that it's consistent. What you're hearing here with people's descriptions of it. Let's play this clip.
So it has a distinct smell that doesn't really get enough press. It's like body odor with kind of like a scented makeup products, but you can smell the hair products even outdoors. Don't make that face. I'm just being honest. I know.
I don't know. Maybe somebody needs to make a candle with that scent.
Yeah,
because that'll fly off
Gwyneth Paltrow.
the shelves. Right for Christmas.
And then finally, here is an individual on TikTok who shares a story about this going back actually decades, where Trump's odor so putrid that he was allegedly kicked out of a restaurant because
this is what I mean, okay? Like, say what you will about Midas Touch, their puerile, immature behavior and humor and their a-logging behavior, right? But these fuckers have their receipts in order. I would hate to go up against Midas Touch.
People couldn't tolerate the scent. Here, play this clip.
So you know when you post something and then someone bigger than you, like Adam Kinzinger, confirm it? And years ago I posted about Trump being kicked out of Keen's Steakhouse in Manhattan where I was eating with my father in 1983. because his smell was so offensive. This wasn't an elderly thing. It was 1983. I wouldn't make fun of Trump today if it was an elderly thing. That's not what we do on the left. It happens to elderly people. Trump wasn't elderly. We didn't complain.
Yeah, Trump would have been in his 30s.
The table next to him complained, and the table behind him complained. We smelled it, but my father and I didn't complain about it. Trump was not elderly. The smell was so fucking offensive that they finally had to ask him to leave. And he did leave, quietly, right by us, and it wafted us. Trump's been shitting all over himself for almost 40 fucking years.
I don't know, chat. This is hearsay or hear smell, if you will.
Well, there you have it, folks. Judge those data points for yourself. And we'll keep, we'll continue this story if there's additional developments. But look, I think it's important as you consider Donald Trump's age, how he presents, how he interacts, to factor this data point in somewhere in the analysis. I'm Ben Mycelis. This has been the Midas Touch. Okay, great. Let's see what this is. This is an impression of Donald Trump.
So we're relaxing back at Trump Tower tonight after another disgraceful day in court as they try to destroy a president. And now there's this awful, disgusting rumor going around that your president farted. They're saying fart. Can you believe that? No, I don't fart. I
call it the weave.
Tremendous control. I actually went to a gastro guy and he looked up my ass and said, "Sir, I don't think I've ever seen a greater ass than this." And I said, "Well, you should."
I don't think I've seen a tighter sphincter anywhere.
That's pretty good too. We paid a lot of money for that, a lot of upgrades. But he said, "Sir, I don't even have to give you a colon powelloscopy because I can tell you're perfect and you have no problems down there." And then I realized what may have happened. The deep state, while they were tapping my phones.
Also tapped your ass?
And you remember this, FISA? Remember FISA?
They did a FISA warrant for your colon?
And Obama. No, they don't want to talk about that. But somebody came into my home and put beans on my fish fillet sandwiches, which would explain why there might have been some issues. But no, I didn't fart. It might have been just we call it a powerful pre-poop. Okay, which is actually very respectful. Would you rather have me take a big dump in the court like Rudy Giuliani? No, so now
I forgot about Rudy Giuliani.
The left wants to attack me for having strong manners. They're called manners. But next time, no, I'm not going to show them any respect next time. So when this trial starts, during the racist prosecutor's opening statement, I'm actually going to take a huge presidential shit right at the defense table. And then, because the left loves evolution, right? Oh, no, it's not creationism, it's evolution. No, as a Christian who never goes to church, I know it's called creationism. But if I like evolution so much, I'm going to pull the poop out of my strong presidential underwear. Not it depends. And unless they want to pay me to endorse me, then maybe I'll say it. And I'm going to throw it right at Fat Alvin Bragg. And we'll see. Then we'll see who's being rude. So, but no farts. Totally no farts. Complete control. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Natalie.
Legislature that the facts have been explained today. You have witnesses, you have the evidence, you had the claim, but now you have the proof. And with that, the law is on your side. The remedy is on your side and it's in your hands. And so when you have attorneys, you have other fellow members, you have anyone else in the fake news media, whoever it is, telling you that you cannot act or that you should sit idly by and simply allow the certification to go through, that is absolutely false. And when our founding fathers, who themselves had an incredible act of moral courage that lasted for years. When they wrote the Declaration of Independence, they all unanimously signed it, pledging their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. And that has been the pledge.
Wait, was that it?
When they wrote the Declaration of Independence, they all unanimously signed it, pledging their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. And that has been the pledge of every American who has understood. And that.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I can't tell. The audio is not great.
Rudy. The answer exists in Constitution.
They're always very jarring. They're always very difficult. They're always very
okay, I can't tell if this is real.
Unnerving, because Constitution.
That's fake. That's got to be fake. They edited that. That's not real. What? I feel like it was a David Pakman that had the actual.
So
the actual fart.
When it happens and look over, it's insane that this is going on.
The answer. Point of order. The answer that I gave you is they didn't bother to interview a single witness, just like.
That's Elisa Hava. Alina Hava.
They don't want to know the truth. Well, you probably know the truth.
So let me just look at that one more time. And I know this is childish, but at the same time, the sort of generally scuffed up nature of everything that's going on, Rudy expelling air in the middle of bogus arguments about witnesses who aren't really witnesses, the other attorney, Jenna Ellis, looking over.
Oh, it's Jenna Ellis. I'm sorry.
Like, why is Rudy farting during this event? Take a look.
The answer. Point of order. The answer that I gave you is they didn't bother to interview a single witness, just like you.
There we go. That's Rudy Giuliani. Okay, so lest you think that Ben Meiselas is going to leave it at that.
On Friday,
we've got more.
On the Midas Touch Network about Donald Trump apparently soiling himself, or at least releasing gas in a very uncomfortable way during a speech that he gave the day before at the Detroit Economic Club. We've since been contacted by some sources who say they were even in a waiting room with Donald Trump at the same gastroenterologist clinic on Park Avenue, and I had not put it together during my previous reports. But remember Donald Trump's personal physician for all of those years? The individual passed away, I think, in 2021.
And chat.
2018, Donald Trump sent his thugs to basically raid that doctor's office. That was the doctor who wrote that personal note for Donald Trump when he was running in 2015, 2016, that said that Donald Trump is the healthiest person to ever run from the office of the presidency. Remember who that doctor was? Dr. Harold Bornstein. Well, if you look at what Dr. Harold Bornstein's specialty was, Donald Trump's personal physician, it all clicks. He was a gastroenterologist. That's the type of doctor he was that would be dealing with these types of issues if Donald Trump was having issues just kind of spontaneously soiling himself and all these other issues that we've heard about over the years. And I was like, oh, he's a gastro. I didn't even put two and two together. So let's break this down. Let's go through this methodically. And as we've done before with these reports, whether it was Donald Trump apparently soiling himself or farting in the courtroom, whatever it was going on there during the criminal trial where he was convicted on 34 separate felony counts, I want to do this very seriously. I don't do these reports.
Wait, we watched this, didn't we? We totally saw that. I don't know how I ended up going back to the
purpose of us reporting on Donald Trump potentially soiling himself in public. Like
how?
Recently during his speech before the Detroit.
And chat, I'm finding like, I don't know, a series of videos. There must be like 10 videos.
Comic Club and relieving.
Specifically on Trump's, wait, the enterologist. Oh wait, no, this is a different video. It's just on the same place. All right, this is about him. Here we go. Let's just get the good.
Very viral.
Let's get the juicy part out of this.
Jimmy Kimmel's talked about it. Others have talked about it, but we clipped it first here at the Midas Touch Network. This was at the Detroit Economic Club. Judge for yourself what's going on, but listen, you will see for yourself. Here, play this clip.
This is a catastrophe for the American dream and a dire
Wait, what the fuck? I thought... I'm so confused. I think we have seen this one. What the... Like, the gastroenterologist is the... Oh, here we go.
Deal about a drug that's... We must have been here.
Said this in
Debbie
2018
Cliff super
when
chatted
Donald Trump...
$9.99. You are going to deep down the Trump hole.
Yeah, a little too deep. But, like, no, I'm going down the Midas hole, actually. Right, this is more about Ben Meiselas, I think, than it is about Donald Trump.
Sent his bodyguards to go in there and seize Donald Trump's file. So what Bornstein since...
Do you remember this? This is Trump's doctor. Meiselas has found out that this guy was a gastroenterologist. Trump sent his bodyguard into this guy's office, right? You know, doctor's office says there's no cops there. There's no guards, right? His thugs come in while the doctor is seeing a patient, demand to know where the records are, go in and grab Donald Trump's records and remove them. And the question is why?
Passed away in 2021, suspiciously, I might add.
No! Do you see how deep the conspiracy goes?
2018. Let's play the clip.
Donald Trump's gastroenterologist suspiciously died under suspicious circumstances after his medical records were removed from this man's office.
What were they looking for?
All his medical records, his pictures, anything they could find. We must have been here for 25 or 30 minutes. It created a lot of chaos. I couldn't believe anybody was making a big deal about a drug that's to grow his hair, which seemed to be so important. And it certainly is not a breach of medical trust to tell somebody they take Propecia to grow their hair.
I believe that is actually literally a violation of HIPAA. I don't know. You're not supposed to discuss a patient's medical records. The other thing I want to see if we can find is, goddamn, going over the Dan Feinstein thing again. No, here it is. All right, so
I said, you got to show me the evidence of this, that you're not making...
Show me the money.
This up, that this is really what happened. So he goes, I have the text messages I sent from 2016 when Trump was next to me, and I've got photographs of Trump going into there.
Into the gastroenterologist.
And this is from 2016 now, April 2016. This individual wrote to their friend, Donald Trump is at my doctor's. The response from his friend, are you joking? No, I saw him. Just missed the pic, but he got a photo of Donald Trump going into the SUV. So he has poop issues too. That's what I said to my doc. And then the person goes to me, Ben, I was next to him in the office and nearly caught the pic of him leaving along with his Secret Service entourage.
Oh my God, you just barely, so like the confirmatory evidence that we need, you just barely missed. It's a little too,
can confirm,
unironically more interesting about this dude's fascination with all this, the work he's put into, confirming Trump's flatulence. That's exactly what I think, Funkmaster Kaw.
That he smells off. Luckily, my IBS was temporary, but it's...
Of course, this person is like, they're like, no, just so you understand, I'm not a chronic farter, all right? I had IBS, it was temporary, I got it fixed, right? I'm not smelly, I'm not nasty. Donald Trump, on the other hand...
Seems like his is chronic. It was the same doctor, gastroenterology specialist, Harold Bornstein, whose Trump's guys busted into and stole his medical records. We can't have a president who has a very real potential of soiling himself in public.
Oh my God.
This is saying to me right there. Now, let's go to Harold Bornstein. When we talk about Donald Trump stealing his medical file.
Okay, so there we go, Chad. That's about as deep down the rabbit hole as I want to go for today. We got a lot to cover today, including Anna Kasparian, including both through the lens of Cenk Uygur and Hasanabi. So what am I going to do now? I think I'm going to raid Shorts chat. We're gonna unify the chats, all right? So if you're watching me on Shorts, I am now going to give you the invitation to join us in the full screen stream for the premium experience. There you go. There's your link. Click on the link. And you can join us. We're going to end the short stream. So if you're watching me on shorts, that's about to end. But what will not end is the stream. And if you want to continue with us on the stream, just click that link. Otherwise, you'll maybe be rated into us. And I'll see you over there. All right. Click the link. There we go. Make sure to like the stream on your way out, too. And like the new stream on your way in, I guess. Liking the stream is really good. It helps me out a lot, and I appreciate it.